I got some queries regarding how we can work with a large list. For example, you have more than 5,000 items, and then how we can actually work with that. So let's discuss these things. So this couple of things we'll discuss. One thing is how to work with this large list item. The second part is we'll discuss is how we can actually retrieve items, let's say more than 5,000 items. Now these are the things that we are going to discuss on this. Now imagine SharePoint allows you to store 30 million items in a list or either in a document library. You can store up to 30 million items. This assumption that the list threshold is so. I think I have also covered this in other videos as well, which will come if you will try to retrieve items at once, more than 5,000 items. That issue come, but a lot of people has a assumption that you cannot store more than 5,000 items. There's nothing like that. You can store first of all 30 million items on that. This the from the official Microsoft statement on this, or the SharePoint team's statement on this. Now, the problem you will actually face when you will have or when you will retrieve more than 5,000 items. Now imagine you are migrating something, or you are, let's say you are writing some query, or you have uploaded a bulk upload on that. So these things will problem comes when actually you have you cross the 5,000 limits, and then you have not taken care of any other thing. That time you'll face the issue. So the ideal thing is you should do take care of those things at the beginning. So there are certain things that you can do, then in those scenarios you can avoid that. So now what we will do is we will try to see what are the things that basically you can do, how we can actually overcome this list threshold issue. Two things are there. One is the classic approach. In fact, three things are there. One is the classic approach. The other one is the modern experience, which is now, and the third one is when you are doing an on-premises version. So in the on-premises version, actually have the control. You can change that. You can go to the web application settings and you can do that from the SharePoint Central Admin. So when you change that in on-premises, it will reflect to all the site collections which is available under that particular web application. That's one thing. Apart from that, also you have PowerShell and all other things are there where you can increase those limits. But in online, you cannot do that. If you are using modern list view, then you will not have any problem on that, because in the modern list view, um, the rendering is different. So you there is no concept of like 30 item it will show, then you will go to the next like this. The moment you will start scrolling it, so it will keep on loading the items. So you can avoid that. The second thing is the indexes. So you can go to the list and then you can create 20 indexes around to avoid this issue. So indexes are like, let's say you have a particular column, you'll do the index. So that means we are kind of grouping that. So instead of searching for the entire thing, it will take those index column and then it will do that. So you can actually there are certain columns which are supported. So you can use those columns to create the indexes of that. And in SharePoint Online, there is a auto index management is there, which you actually you in the settings, advanced settings, you can do that. You can change that. That I'll show you. So the first thing is you can do that is you can create indexes. You know the columns, you can start creating the indexes before creating the items which will cross more than 5,000 items. Till 5,000 by items is you will not face any issues on that. So you create the indexes as many as you can, it's possible. So make sure there is certain columns which are supported, certain columns which are not supported. So you cannot help with that. And this is if you have little SQL Server background knowledge, then it works the same way. So how you will create an index in SQL Server a table, it will work the same way. And the other thing you can do is you can create views. So this is very unlikely you want to see 5,000 items at one shot. For example, at one place you want to see 5,000 items. This is very unlikely as a business process, but you can create actually multiple views. For example, let's say you are taking a task list, then you can actually create a view for the open task, for closed tasks which are in progress or which are not started. So you can create actually different views on the conditions. So if you actually created index, then you can use those index column in the views. So let's say you want to retrieve what are the items created today, what are the items created by some people. Let's say you want to get the items which are created by some XYZ member of your team. So it's you want to see how many items you created by yourself. So you can use those views. We have already checked how we can create the views, so you can check that. Now, these are the things that you can do to overcome this issue. These are main things you can do. But apart from that, I think I have also discussed in another video where you can create folders, you can have your manage metadata columns you can set so that you can do the filtering. And then if possible, on the larger side, you can create different lists to store the values rather than storing in one thing. But that's unlikely that you want to store in multiple list, not be your requirement, might not fulfill on that, but you can use these scenarios to avoid that issue. Now, the next thing is what we'll do is before retrieving the items using any other thing. So let's say we want to install, we want to insert more than 5,000 items first of all. There's a couple of ways I'll show you, but I have used now in the PNP approach. So if you'll see here, you can see this is the site URL which you want to connect. Okay, before that, if you want to work with PNP PowerShell, then you have to install the command here. So on install PNP PowerShell SharePoint Online, something like that is there. You can check the PowerShell videos tutorials as well. Actually, I have already covered this thing in PNP module, but let me tell you that thing also. I'll show you that. So this is the PNP, and these are the commands actually. If you are working with SharePoint Online, then you can just use this command in your anyways. So install hyphen module SharePoint PNP PowerShell Online. So you can see here this online. If you are working with 2019, you can use 2019, 2016, or 2013. That's the one thing. And then if you want to update, then you can just use the update. So this is a simple PNP command that you can install so that you can connect to SharePoint Online sites from your PowerShell. Now, once you have that, then you can see here I'm providing the site URL list name. So this is my list name, connect hyphen PNP online, and then your site URL. And you can see here I said use web login. So it will ask me to put the credential. And the good thing is that you have already saved, then it will not ask you again. And then this is the for loop. So I said I equal to 1, I less than this much, 5050 items, and then I plus plus. So you can see here, and then add hyphen PNP list item hyphen list. So this is our list name. You can see here large list and the values. So at the rate you can give title. If you have more columns, then you can put colon semicolon, and then you can add the column name and the value. So you can see here, so it will come item hyphen 1 item hyphen 2 like this. This will insert all the items to the SharePoint list. So I have actually run this. You can see here this just completed. You can see here this is the command in power. You can use PowerShell ISE. So I have used PowerShell ISE on that, and this is what is the script that we discussed now. Let me show you the list now. You can see here this is the list, and you can see here the moment you will, this is a modern list. So the moment I started scrolling it, you can see here the items are getting loaded. And this list already has more than 5,000 items. So you can see here, now I'll be able to, I am not facing any issue, and then I'll be able to do it. Let me go to the list settings page. So I'll click on the settings icon, then you can see here list settings, and on that you will see here now it is saying the list threshold is 5,000, and then it has 5050 items. Now you can see here, right? So this is coming, but still in modern experience I don't have any problem, and I can access that. The other thing I was talking about is if I'll go to the advanced settings, Then if you'll see here, there is automatic index management. So you can see here, it will actually do the automatic index management. So it will start creating the indexes and things like that. Now, if I'll go to site settings, and then if you'll see here, index column, you can see here in the settings page, you can see here you have zero indexes on that. So the moment you will cross more, and by default this title column is there, so it didn't create. But this is where you can create your indexes. Okay. Um, Now this other video there, I think already you must have been covered that in list and libraries, how we can create indexes and things like that. You can cover, you can check out those things. So this is how the items are there now. More than 5050 items are there, and we will see in the next video how actually we can use REST API or CSOM or JSON to get the items from there, from this list, and how we can present that. Okay, we have added more than 5000 items into a list using PowerShell. We saw in the previous video. Now what we will do is we will see how we can retrieve those items, all items from that list. In fact, I have 5050 items. So we will see how at one shot we can retrieve all these items and display in our page. So if I will show you now, these are the items. So it has you can see here, like if I'll keep on scrolling, it will go on, and it has 5050 items on that. Anytime if you want to retrieve more than 5000 item at once, then it will give you this error: the attempted operation is prohibited because it exceeds the list view threshold enforced by the administrator. And there is a reason for that why they kept it, because they want the performance to be okay, so that you will not see a slowness on the page when it is loading. So that's the reason it has, there's a limit that you can display or you can retrieve 5000 items from the SharePoint list at once. If you'll go more than that, then this is the message that it is going to show you. Now we will see how we can retrieve it by using REST API. So the concept that we will do here is we will retrieve thousand items. So first we'll retrieve thousand, then thousand, and then thousand, and then thousand. So now in this case, what will happen is ultimately the user should see that 5000 items has been loaded. We cannot give 4 buttons to click, or we cannot do a 100 or 1000 pages. Sorry, we cannot have 4 pages having thousand items. We will not give the option the user to click on first next or next button like this, so that next thousand will keep on adding. It's not like that. So we'll retrieve all the items. So now let me show you the code. So if you'll see here, we have taken a button. Simple, you can see here the button submit is there. We are trying to retrieve the items on a button click, and this is the jQuery file, and then there's a button click event that we have attached to this particular button, which is having an ID this, and this is the div that we are using to display the items. Now in the button click, we are calling get list data method, and this is quite important. You can see here, this is our function get list data. But before that, if you look at this error, look at this URL, what we are doing, or how the endpoint that we are generating in this case is, I'm using underscore sp page context info.web absolute URL. It will give you the site URL, then slash underscore API. So then get by title, this is our list name or list title slash items, and then you can see a parameter we are passing top equal to 1000. So that means we want to retrieve top 1000 items on that. And next, I have taken a variable response, and we will keep on adding over there. So the intention over this response is it will first add the 1000 items, then next thousand, next thousand, like this. That's the reason we have taken this variable. And now our call here, REST API call. So I'm passing the URL, method is get, header, all these things are there. And then there is a success function. And here what we are doing is, so in the REST API, obviously we'll have the success function and my failure function. So you can see here success and error over here, two functions are there. And now what we are doing here is the response. You can see here response dot concat and then data dot d dot results. You can see here. So if you saw the REST API, this is how we will get the results. So data dot d dot results, and we are doing a concat over there into that array variable. And so first time nothing will be there. So next, if you'll see here on the success method, you can sorry, in the when it will come into the success method, data dot t dot results will be there, and it will check if next is there. Then we are doing a recursive call here. So the URL is, you can see here, data dot d and then the next. So what we are doing here is we are generating the URL over there, and then if you look at this, we are calling the get list data method here again. So it's a recursive call that we are doing. And then what we are doing is I have taken a variable and I have done a for each loop. So this is basically, it will run till the items are there. And then you can see here I have taken a variable, and on that, in the for loop, I have taken the response dot title. So you can see here I because it's a for loop, so I'm taken the I. So first time it will go 0 1 2 like this, it will go on, and then dot title, so it will get the title column over there. And then finally what we are doing is we are doing a div results.html, and then we are putting this code. I think you must have been already say how we can add into that HTML, because this is the div that we have taken here and we want to display the items over there. So I'll just copy this code and I will go to the page, and this is a test page is there. I'll go over there, I'll edit this page, and on that I'll click on add a web part, and here I'll go to media and content script editor web part, click on add, and I'll edit snippet. I'll put the entire code here. I'll click on insert, click on stop. So now if you'll see here, we have added our button here in this page, and I'll click on get list data using REST API. You can see here it has added all the items over there. You can see here all 5050 items are there. We retrieve all the 5050 items, and it displayed in this. Now if you want to display in a tabular format, you can use that. You have the data now. If you want to use the table structure, whatever, you can, the same way how we saw in other examples, you can make the table here, because this is what is the data you have. Now you can make your header, you can have your table structure, you can add the row and then column, and then it will become a tabular structure as well. We'll see some other examples as well. We will see how we can retrieve this using JSM as well as CSM as well, but this is how we can get in REST API. I'll also try to show some more examples with some other formatted way how we can present the data. I'll put this code over there so you can get the code as well on the attached file.